Hello and welcome to another task video. In this task video, we are going to learn about Axios. Axios is a promise-based HTTP client for any Node.js project, and also it can be used in browser. So it's going to be a very simple example. For example, we are going to create a new user, and so when you want to create a new user, how can you do that? So right now we are going to use an API called jsonplaceholder.typecode.com. So this is an API that we are going to try. So to create a new user, so what does it mean actually? So here in this example, you can see that I'm creating a new user, Enoch, and Enoch at example.com. This is an example. So what happens is when someone comes here and click on create user, this user will be created. So this is some very simple example to understand how you can use an API to create a new user. So this is how this example can be used in many websites, web application. For example, if you have a WordPress website, there if you want to have a login, first of all they have to register. So you need to create a new user. So the new user, after that, once they have the user, they can log in and access the information. So something similar, but this is the basic stuff to understand how we can use API to create a new user. So I'm going to start from the scratch and explain you line by line and understand how we're going to do this code. So let's go. Let's start from the beginning and then see how we can type this code with me and understand how you can how we can create a new user. Okay, so let's get started. So Axios is like a delivery service for data. Axios is what? It's like a delivery service. So you can tell what you want and where to get it, and it brings it back. So you will learn what Axios is, how to make a GET request, how to handle .then, .catch, and how to post data, how to use Axios in this example. So this is what you're going to learn in this example. So let's do the step one. Very important to understand what Axios is. As I said to you before, Axios is a JavaScript library that helps you to make HTTP requests, like getting data from an API or sending info to a server. It works with browser Node.js project. So first thing, actually I'm using CodePen for this. So if you want to run Axios, you need to add this CDN. So right now, for example, you can understand this. So this is the, if you want to run in Axios, you can copy this script and then copy this and paste it in your CodePen. How do you do that? You can just go to settings and then click on JS, and then you can add this. Here you can see that cdn.jsdeliver.net/npm axios dist/axios.min.js. This is an example where I took this script here and then I pasted here. So this is how you're saying to codepen.io that I'm using Axios for this project. Please use the CDN. Okay, got it. So, but actually, in this example, I will also show you how we can directly apply this in our HTML. Let's see, and let's work it out. So first, let's start with HTML. And then we can create a head. Then we have the title. The title we say create a new user with Axios. So good. It's been saved here. So let's create the body tag. Inside the body tag, we can have an H1 tag. That's going to be our header saying create new user. So you can see that that's the header. And then we can start with the body tag with heading saying that create a new user. That's what we did, and gives us a page title that the user can see. So what happens? So we're going to create a button now. This is our main button. When someone clicked it, it will trigger our JavaScript to create a new user. So how do we do that? Let's close the body tag. Yeah. Okay, then let's go for button. Button ID equal to create button, create user button. So you can follow a little bit of this type of conversion. For example, for names you can use like create user button like this. So once you have done this, so user button, that's the name of the button, and then you're going to have button close. Okay, super. Then let's think. The second one is actually the heading is hidden by default. It will be shown only after a new user is created. So how do we do that? So let's create an h2 with an ID result heading. So because this is going to be the result heading, style equal to display none. And then let's say new user created. So this is going to be our heading. And then we're going to display two lines, the new user name and email. Right now that's empty. So when the JavaScript function, it will display here. How do we do that? Create a p tag. Let make the name strong. Span ID equal to username. Close the span, close the p tag. And then you're going to display the email address. Same like name. Let's do it for the email. Not spam, span ID equal to user email. So, and then we are going to add the Axios CDN. As I said to you, I already added this in the setting in JavaScript. I can also add here. This is one way of adding, or you can just add directly in the HTML code. So I'm going to show you both of them so you can choose what you want. Yeah. So here we have imported Axios and a powerful library, JavaScript library, to make HTTP requests like get, post, put, and delete. So this is the one we have already added here. So the Axios. So if you want it, you can follow this way. So finally we have connected our JavaScript file called so this is our HTML file. So this is going to be our HTML file. And let's go back to the JavaScript now. So what is going to be, so let's create the JavaScript now. Const create user button equal to document dot get element by ID. And then we are going to call this create user button here, this button. The second one is going to be user name span. Const create const user name span equal to document dot get element by ID username const user email span equal to document dot get element by ID user email. And then we're going to have const result heading equal to document dot get element by ID result heading. So make sure that this name and these names are matching. So don't make any mistakes so that you will not have any errors. So here we grab the button, empty span elements from our HTML so we can update with our JavaScript. So next line, create user button dot add event listener. So what we are going to do, so we're going to add an event listener for this button. When someone clicks it, what happens? Event listener click arrow function. When someone clicks, what happens? Const new user equal to name Enoch and then email Enoch at enochgeorge.com. So now we have created a new user object with a name and email, and this will be sent to our API. How do we do that? Let's say Axios dot post HTTPS So this is the API that we are going to send. JSON.JSONplaceholder.com, sorry, JSONplaceholder.typicode.com/user says, comma, new user. And then we're going to have dot then response const user equal to response dot data console dot log new user created. Got it? So if the request is successful, dot then block runs, and we store the response data in a user variable, and we are logging it. That's what we done. So next step, user name span dot text content equal to user dot name. Then we have user email span dot text content equal to user dot email. Result heading dot style dot display equal to block. So here's the magic. We update the page with the username and email and make the heading visible. So here's the magic. We update the page and user name and email and make the heading visible. And then we're going to have a dot catch error. Dot catch error and console dot error. Console dot error equal to error sending data. Sending data. Cool. And then alert oops, something is wrong, something went wrong. Something went wrong while creating a user. So this type of friendly errors is good because to understand the problem. If something goes wrong, the dot catch block handles the error and shows an alert to the user. So what we have learned, you just made your first post request using Axios and displayed the result on the screen. So what's special about Axios? Here's why people use Axios. Because it automatically parses JSON. You can set global defaults like base URL, It has built-in request and response, better error handling, and it works with async and await tools. So you have just learned how to grab send data in a clean way using Axios. So here we go, you can see the output. So this is simple, but you can just go through this again and again. If you don't understand, try it again. If you make any mistake, try it again. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in another task video.